So, hey guys, welcome back to Analyst to CEO. I'm really excited to chat with Elisa today. She is the founder of Shop Brown Girl Beauty. I think it's really inspiring to see that she's created a business specifically to empower minority women. So, I'm really excited to share her story with you guys. So, hi Elisa, thanks so much for joining Analyst to
Hi,
CEO.
thanks for having me.
Can you please introduce yourself to everyone?
So my name is Elisa, and I founded Brown Girl Beauty in May to kind of be the first all-inclusive brand that really focuses on brown skin and empowers brown girls to love their own skin.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Can you talk more about what kind of motivated you to start this company during this time?
Yeah, so I definitely kind of like had it in the back of my mind more as something to do in the future, like 5 to 10 years down the line, once I kind of have, my own career and everything. I'm pursuing law. But I kind of felt like now that everything is so digital, and especially, in May was kind of like when everything went online, I felt like, why not do this now? And I had kind of done some fashion and makeup stuff on the side before, but it always felt like we were kind of an afterthought. Like there weren't really brands that were made by us and for us. And so I kind of wanted to fill that gap.
And that makes a lot of sense. And it's really cool that obviously during quarantine you started a business, and that poses its own challenges. So, how was kind of the journey of starting the company initially, and what have you kind of gone through that you didn't expect?
Yeah, so I think what was unique about starting in this time was just the focus on everything being so digital and being so online. We're all online all day or on our phones all day with like working from home, and so I think that was good and also presented unique challenges just in trying to optimize reach and kind of reaching new audiences. The good thing about it is that it really allows you to expand your reach beyond like a typical, your own networks or local networks, and you can really reach anyone everywhere. I've gotten like traffic from like all over the world, even from like India and Pakistan, even though my intentions were kind of to be US based. So it's really cool to kind of like see that reach and see how people can connect from everywhere just with the internet.
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, social media is like a huge part of branding, a part of strategy. So, how have you kind of evolved your social media strategy for Shop Brown Girl Beauty?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely been interesting to like see kind of like the business side of that. But I think even within that, the best ways to just make it personal, and I think that's what like people really connect with, is to share like the personal side behind it and really connect with people. And right now, I think definitely like content is the game. And I think what's good about it is that it kind of like democratizes access because not everyone can like hire someone. Like I didn't hire like a social media person or a social media manager, but everyone can, be online and learn kind of the game of social media and like content marketing. So it took like a lot of research into um, kind of the business side of it. But I think it's really cool because it's something that everyone has access to.
Definitely. And I've looked at your website. It's really cool. It's really great. And you have a lot of different products actually. So, how did you kind of start? What was your initial product line? How did you kind of think about expanding that and look into kind of you make masks, you have different lip glosses. So, how was that kind of evolution?
Yeah, so the first thing that I made was the Rani gloss, which I actually formulated myself. And my background is in biological sciences, so I had experience in like typical bio and chem lab work. And then once I was kind of looking into the ingredients of this, because I'm into makeup, I was like, oh well, these are some of the things that we worked with in lab. Like I kind of understand like how this works and how it works with the skin, which was kind of like a cool connection that I made. So I kind of looked into like, what a really good formula would be. Something that I wanted was a gloss that was like smooth and didn't stick to the lips. And so I kind of looked into like what oils would work for that and what oils would like moisturize the lips in the gloss as well. And just looking into like what pigments also work for brown skin tones. And really making that the focus. And now my goals for 2021 are to expand the products and go more into face products like highlighters, concealers, and eye products, and just to really have it be a full line. So it's definitely been like, starting slow and taking it one step at a time and testing different products out and seeing what people like and respond to. And I've also, I've done like polls and things like that to ask people what they want to see. So
Yeah, that's really cool. And like you mentioned, you have a very unique background in biology. Now you're pursuing law. And it's really interesting because it shows that anyone who has an interest, who has that idea, can definitely start a business. You and honestly, you use that background to help you with your business. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I think whatever your background is, there's ways that you can connect it with what you're doing. And I think also the internet just makes it so much easier for people to start their own thing and to fill a gap and kind of test the market with social media and see what people are responding to and what they like, what they don't like. And it just makes it easier than ever before to do that.
And also, starting a business in your young 20s is definitely challenging because it's not like we have 30 years of industry experience or anything like that. But what kind of advice would you give to entrepreneurs that start out really young?
Yeah, I definitely can see that, and I think I'm still learning because this is so new to me as well. So I think my biggest advice is to just start, even if it's not perfect, because there's always going to be things that you don't know and that you still need to learn, and that's okay, and that's true whenever you start, whether you were to start now or 10 years down the line. So it's like, why not start now while you're young, and you kind of have that room to grow and learn and make mistakes. Um, and there's so many things that you don't learn until you start, and I think sometimes it's like we have this really great idea, but we keep thinking like, I'll wait until it's perfect or wait until it's the right time, but then you just never start. And just learning by doing is the most important thing. And I think that's true in just in academia and in professional life and in any career, is that the biggest thing is to just start.
Definitely. No, I 100% agree because when I started this platform, I was really nervous about putting out content. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if there was enough to like even come up with. But then once I just kind of put out the first video, and it definitely wasn't perfect. Like the first 2 minutes, it was just me trying to figure out how to use Instagram Live. Like then things started coming up, the ideas started rolling in, people started giving suggestions. So with anything, whether it's a company or whether it's social media, it's just to kind of put yourself out there as the first step.
yeah, definitely. And I feel like there's so many things that you don't really learn until you start and until you kind of see what new challenges or what new ideas come up with that.
Exactly. And do you have any advice? I think being like a minority woman starting a business, like it's really good to see people stepping out of their comfort zones and making breaking the stereotypes that business is only for men, for like white men basically. Like what kind of advice do you have for minority entrepreneurs?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just to go for it and really, break out of like just the traditional mindset that you can only do one thing. And I think oftentimes women place themselves in a box.
Mm.
And I've done that, and I feel like it's because people put so much pressure on us to like just do one thing. And also a lot of times people don't take women's like hobbies and interests that seriously, even if you excel in like academia and professional life. When you're into something like fashion or makeup, um, people just don't take it as seriously compared to men's outside interests and hobbies. And I definitely think that's something that we should reject, and that we should celebrate women being multifaceted and being talented in these different areas.
What
And
I've
you
also
can really
found
do both, and like you can, excel in your career and like have these other interests as well.
Yeah, and what I found is that like women are doing a really good job of like uplifting each other, giving shout outs to each other. So that also really helps, is just using that network and using that support to kind of boost your business. Like so
I feel like none of it can happen without like having a community that supports you and like really reaching out to that community.
definitely. So thanks so much again for taking the time. This was great. I loved chatting with you, obviously. And of course, guys, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe now because we're on YouTube. And I'll catch you next week. Bye. Okay.
Bye. Thanks so much for having me.